In this video, we're going to talk about how Spawn unexpectedly became a guardian angel in a sense. You'll see exactly what I mean. It is a tale of two brothers, a fallen hero, and a father's cruelty exposed. Alright, my brothers and my sisters from another mister, this is a comic book review of Spawn, issue number 29, brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. This issue begins exactly where the Angela miniseries ended in issue number 3. Now, unfortunately, I did not read that miniseries, but of those who had, I'll link in the description if you want to take a look at it. But Spawn falls down from heaven exactly after the Battle of Heaven takes place. Spawn and Angela speaking. But when Spawn lands in Alabama, this little kid named Andy is like, yo, mister, you're gonna be in big trouble getting all dirty like that. And Spawn's just like, man, I'm too weakened in the battle in heaven from earlier. But Spawn didn't tell him that. That's just the way it is. And Spawn's like, sorry, kid. I'm just gonna, lay down and rest up. Andy, being innocent, and you gotta admire a kid's innocence here, just wanting to help as innocently as that. Like, no, man, I'm gonna pick you up, put you in this wagon. And Andy doesn't care that Spawn weighs 400 pounds. But this wagon, it's tested for that. Andy has some inner hidden strength and some adrenaline kicks in, and he just puts Spawn in the wagon and takes him on. And Spawn is so wounded in heaven that he's just like, is this mommy? Yeah, I guess it's kind of funny right there. No, says the kid in an innocent voice, I'm not your mother, but I think we should get you off the street. You look kind of funny. So he pushes a wagon and not even realizing that Spawn's chains are shattering in the cement. So he's like very struggling to get him in. Spawn's like, where we're going, and Andy tells him, home. What do you think? But I just can't let my pa see you. He wouldn't understand. He never does. Now, as Andy's shirt becomes untucked, it exposes more than just flesh. It exposes bruises and welts from the belt, and Spawn loses focus again. So back in Queens, New York, the home of Wanda Blake and Terry Fitzgerald, Wanda wakes up and she was terrified of the meeting with Spawn, and she can't stop thinking about it. In her head from the previous issue when Wanda met Spawn, not knowing that it was Al Simmons, all she can see is a monster that enjoyed beating up people, because Spawn kind of enjoyed it like that, but he did not realize that Wanda was watching, and she cannot get that out of his head. So as Cyan, their daughter, goes into the room all innocent and gets filled with love and picked up by Terry Fitzgerald, I like this split panel right here where one child gets love and the other child gets a love of beating from his dad, and it's a little bit more than just tough love right there. So but the dad is angry at Andy, and his brother could just stand there just in anger because he's sick and tired of seeing this repeat cycle of abuse again. So the dad's like, when I get home, I want a hot freaking dinner, not salad. So you can tell it's a struggling family financially. And Andy, all he can do is, I'll get you some better stuff, Paul. Don't worry about it. Leave him be, says his brother Eddie. You got something to say, says the dad. Put him down. You're hurting him again. His brother sticks up for his little brother. How many times I told you to mind your own business? I'll take care of you later. Backhands the bro. And all he can do is sit down and watch what his dad's about to do as a little brother next. Andy begs his dad not to hit him, but you know what? That's not going to be the case. And so now we know that this is taking place in a town called Alabama. So Spawn fell from heaven, landed in Alabama, a far cry from New York, and they happen to live next to a church. So later, Eddie tells Andy, I wish I could be there. I wish I could help, but he gets angry, man. I wish mom was still alive. Oh, don't worry about it, big bro. I'm a big boy now. I could take the beating. He didn't break anything this time. So Eddie tells his little brother, Andy, you'll just have to wear long sleeves to school tomorrow. And Andy gets excited, like, yo, I forgot to show you something. Let's go outside. It's predictable. Dad's asleep. He had his beer. He's falling asleep to a Bud Light commercial before that Bud Light commercial got way out of pocket, Anyways, they go outside to the shed, and he shows his brother Spawn. And Spawn is still beaten and just tired, but just resting up, And he's like, oh, I forgot, Spawn's not feeling too good, but Mr. Spawning, I want to introduce you to my brother Eddie. And Eddie is like, oh my gosh, you cannot let Pa see this, So Andy's like, he's like my little own personal ET. Do you like little Reese's Pieces? That kind of shows you how old I really am. If you guys watched that movie from Steven Spielberg, Drew Barrymore, as a kid, that movie is a classic for a reason. So they have this cool little kid moment with him. Andy tells his brother Eddie, look, I told you, he's not feeling well. He fell on his head from heaven. So Spawn wakes up and realizes, yo, man, your bruises. Did your dad give you those bruises? Well, no, he didn't. We play lots of tackle football. Dad don't ever touch us. Come on, boy, says Spawn. He sees right through it. You're not afraid, are you? Andy! The father yells, get your butts in here right now. What the hell are you doing? He calls him names, tells him brain dead. I want you in bed right now. We got to go to church early. So Spawn's like, church? What the heck? So before we go to the church part, in New York City Police Headquarters in the 12th Precinct. Sam and Twitch are going through the files that Spawn provided them, and they're like, yo man, our Chief Banks is shadier than I thought. I mean, we're going through the files that Spawn, provided us, and it all checks out. He has political ties. Now we realize he has ties to Billy Kincaid, and the possibility that Chief Banks was responsible for hiring Billy Kincaid to kill a senator's child, that's incomprehensible. So now Sam realizes no wonder why the chief wigged out when Kincaid's body was found in our office, and that's a reference to Spawn issue number 5 when Spawn did that, I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream, and kill Billy Kincaid that way. I'll put a little picture up there just for good measure, but you guys have a pretty good memory, right? So Twitch is like, some of the info contained in this file is eyes only stuff. No one but high-ranking officials from certain government agencies will be able to have access to all this. And Sam is like, well, our little red cape hero might be a disgruntled government boy. Well, that's our first potential lead on him. Now I'm gonna go get some coffee, So as Sam walks by Chief Banks' office, Chief Banks is like, why are you always moving so slowly, huh? Don't you ever feel urges to perform your duties? Well, hello, Chief Banks. Sam has that smirk on his face. Stop it! I'm not here to exchange any pleasantries. And Sam's like, all right, bro, whatever you say. Like, Sam just knows, your clock is winding down and that ass is mine. Top shelf status. So Chief Bank continues grilling him. There's been indications that you and your partner were involved in some unofficial work. Well, I'm here to tell you that if I catch even a hint of personal business on city time, I will have you suspended. And Sam's like, well, Chief Banks, yes, it was rather unfortunate that Internal Affairs wasn't able to nail me for Kincaid's death. It would have really made your day, huh? How dare you? You listen to me. I'm in no mood. Don't turn your back on me. And why you got that stupid grin on your face? Oh, you'll find out soon enough, Chief Banks. Don't worry about it. So on Sunday, peering from the dank shadows of the rundown shed, the hidden guests, Spawn, eavesdrop on the morning's events. So they leave to go to church. They go to church. They pray. And the pastor's like, God's own divine hand shall he protect his only son, Jesus, who in turn shall use his hand to protect all others that follow the path of the Lord. Amen. They got out of church. He mingles with the churchgoers. Thanks for wiping out the speeding tickets, Joe. That's the name of the dad. And the dad's like, my pleasure. I got you guys' back. And now even they know your boys are bruised up again. They can't get enough of that tackle football, huh? Now you know how they are. The harder the game, the harder they play. So that's how it is. But their mom would have been so proud of them. But on that same day, Joe drinks a beer and tells his son Andy to go get another one. He goes to the fridge, and the father's warning is, be careful in there. Make sure you don't spill my last beer. Andy, I don't know, man, maybe a result from the beating or something, just spills the beer. It's what kids do. My kids do it all the time. And the dad gets pissed. You idiot, look what you've done. That was my last beer. So Joe's like, that's it. I'm through trying to beat some sense into you. Tom, you learn your lesson another way, like dying. He chokes him, and Eddie tries to save his dad from doing the unthinkable, but even the dad gives him a kick in the midsection. Before the gun can click, the dad just has that evil, sinister laugh, like, ha ha ha, you two go to bed and think about what could have really happened next time. I'm going out to the pub, all right? So Andy gets up. He's like, yo, man, he's getting worse. I really couldn't breathe. He really wanted to kill me. And Eddie's like, I know, man. He's completely messed up, but it's you I'm worried about, not him. I can't let him keep doing this to you. And Andy's like, okay, this time he took it overboard. Like, he's really starting to scare me. Why does he do it? No clue, little buddy, but God help us, all right? So Spawn comes in his moment of redemption right there, like, what just happened here? They're like, well, it's nothing. He didn't do anything. And Spawn like, what, your dad didn't hurt you? That scum? Where is he? Please, Mr. Spawn, it will only make things worse. Now Wanda wakes up again with the Spawn in her eyes, and she wakes up from that nightmare of her encounter with him in the alleyways. Wanda's like, I keep seeing him over and over again tearing those men apart. I mean, I'm sorry, Terry, he just seems like some kind of monster. There's nothing human about him. Nothing at all. Turns out there really is something human about him in this panel right here, and that is a redemption moment that makes Spawn top G in my opinion. But you know what? Spawn has something in his head to give a clap back to Joe and to make the wrong right, so to speak, you know what I mean? So when Joe leaves the bar, Spawn's Crimson Tide, his cloak, comes out and drags his ass into the dark alleyways, and Spawn's like, I'd knock your block off if I thought it'd do any good. But you know what? I've got this thing about hitting people for no good reason. Throwing punches is a really stupid hobby. If you get into the habit, you might find yourself hitting someone you love, like I did, and regretting it forever. It's not worth it. You got a great couple kids there, alright? And they need a father. It's time you start acting like one. A lot of people have good feelings about you, Joe. It's time the two most important ones feel the same way. End of sermon. Now, I want to leave a little reminder for you, a message for everyone who talks about what a great guy you are. And Joe is like, I'll kill you. The thing is, Joe, you're not listening, buddy. Besides, you can't really kill what's already dead. Now, hold on. This won't hurt. Unfortunately, if you're good, it'll fade in a month. Spawn is satisfied he left a message on Joe. So as the boys get back and the boys are back from school and Eddie's telling Andy, hey, this little girl, Bethy or whatever, wants to give you kissy faces, all right? So they run upstairs, go to the room, and Joe just has marks on him like, I beat my kids, I beat my kids. Keep in mind, that's gonna last for a month if he is good. But one, first of all, he rips Andy's favorite shirt. And two, he is pissed and he's drinking. So he gets up, it begins again, tackles Andy, and all Eddie could do is back up and just like, he's in horror. Joe hits his son so hard you could tell it knocks a few teeth out, and his brother begs for Eddie. Eddie can't do anything about it as he gets pummeled on. Eddie, Eddie! He goes to the kitchen, covers his ears, and just cries because there's nothing he can physically do. But is there? Based on the corner of his eye, maybe there is, but is it the right thing to do? Eddie tells his dad, get off of him now, I mean it, and he's bold about it. How many times I told you, boy, that thing's not a toy? And Eddie's like, I know. And that is the end of their nightmare, and that is the end of Spawn issue number 29. Two brothers, a fallen hero, and a father's cruelty exposed. What you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. Link in description if you wish to add this comic book to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. Also, don't forget to check out RatedComics.com to add some really cool limited print Rated Comics exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Lastly, this video is sponsored by coffee. If you'd like to buy your boy a cup of coffee, link in description, or donate to the super thanks. But the greatest compliment you guys can do is by liking this video and subscribing to Rated Comics YouTube channel. Thank you again for watching. Until next time.